On the road to Macstock with Pat Fauquet. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by the new MacVoices merch store, featuring Comfort Colors t-shirts and sweatshirts, caps, mugs, stickers, and even more items coming. Check it out at store.macvoices.com. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we have another Road to Macstock show. We have another Macstock speaker that's going to be presenting in Crystal Lake, Illinois in July. It's going to be a lot of fun. We want you there, so please check out macstockconference.com. But more about that later. Now, I want to introduce Pat Fauquet, back to MacVoices, back to the Macstock stage. Pat, it's great to see you.
Oh, it's good to be here. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, and Pat, you were a presenter a few years ago, but then you decided to sit out for a while. Am I correct?
Actually, no, I have never presented at Macstock. I've done presentations at Macworld, at all sorts of computer conferences, but I never did Macstock. I'm not really sure why, but
Okay, well then I apologize because I would have sworn that you were at Macstock, but maybe I'm thinking of one of your presentations at one of the other conferences that we've been to. So yeah, this will be you're a first timer now. So nobody believes me, but I do not know what you're presenting because I tell Mike not to tell me.
Okay, well, the title of my presentation is Pills, Processes, and Procedures. And what we're talking about is how to use your Apple devices to medically assist your doctors and yourself in taking care of yourself as you run into problems in age and, you're beyond a pill for allergies once in a while.
That's a fascinating topic.
Yeah, about 10 years ago, I had a major procedure called a vagal schwannoma. And it was in the base of my brain. And it was the first time that I had had a surgery since I had had a child by C-section. And it opened up a new world of issues and taking care of myself and problems. And the last 10 years have not been kind to me. I've had, I think, 9 other major procedures, and that one allergy pill is now a handful of pills twice a day and a few more at 2 other times. So things have changed. And lots of diagnoses, nothing that's going to kill me today or tomorrow, not cancer.
Good.
But, enough other things that I have to track stuff. And I need to be doing my own research because you have to be your own advocate for medical care. And it's nice if you have a husband, which I do have, and he definitely helps in that. But I have to do my research. I have to keep track of all these medicines and all these doctors. And I used to have one doctor that I saw maybe once a year, and now, God forbid, they want to see me every 3 months, and there's tons of them. So we're going to talk about how to track all this and how to use your Apple devices, because without my watch, my iPad, and my computer, I don't know how to do it. And also my telephone. Those are just things that I use every day to keep track of all this stuff, be it research or schedules or appointments. All that stuff you will end up having to track. And your Apple devices make it so easy. And I was at a different conference of a different type this past weekend and talking to several people who were older and who had some health issues, who were Android users, and they had nothing that allowed them to bring all their pieces together in one place. And we're very fortunate with Apple products and Apple services to really be able to do that. And doctors are impressed when I walk in and I can tell them exactly what medicines I'm on, exactly who I've seen and what was done. And I keep all of that information, not in my head, but in my devices.
Okay. So, first of all, I want to say congratulations and thank you for being so forthcoming. You're really putting yourself out there with what a lot of people would consider very personal information. And you're giving us this for the benefit of us, of the audience and everyone attending. So, thank you first. But this is really interesting too, because I also know one of the things that are facing a lot of folks as they get older is the issue of aging family members and
Yes,
taking care
same
of
thing.
them. Yeah, and so what you're saying is really intriguing to me because of the Apple technology, a lot of this can be quasi-automated, and so that too is going to factor, I think, into people's reception of the information.
Exactly. And you can't completely rely on Apple, but you can certainly rely on many of their products for keeping you up to date and considering what you need to cover and think about. It's quite a story when you stop to think about what it takes when you have multiple issues. Fortunately, none of my issues, they're all familial, they're all things that are inherited. So, it's not like I'm telling you about my weird stuff that I caused. I think this was all just part of being Pat.
So but you've mentioned here now several times that you're talking about the Apple technology. So I'm going to assume from that the main part of this presentation will be things that Apple gives you, as opposed to necessarily third-party applications or third-party services. Is that fair?
We'll talk about a few third-party things, but when it becomes third-party, they don't all tie together. When I use my Apple products and I can put them in Apple solutions and software, I can get to them from my phone to my computer to my iPad, and many of them on my watch. And that's the key, I think. It's so easy when you've got multiple problems to forget to take the pill or not to be watching for current research, because things change and doctors just can't keep up with everything. And knowing the interaction between two issues, between a heart problem and a nerve problem, those kind of things are important. And when you can cue the doctor into what's going on, it helps keep you healthier. So
It's really interesting that we're having this conversation because a physician that I see has made it. I just saw him earlier this week, actually, and he's made it a personal mission to get all of his clients, all of his patients, excuse me, to have to wear an Apple Watch.
yeah,
And he said, okay, so the other platforms, they're okay, but he really advocates strongly, almost to the point of prescribing it, an Apple Watch for stroke considerations, for just overall health considerations. And it's very interesting to hear someone in that profession who is not necessarily pretty obviously a geek like we are, but just has come to recognize it in his discipline that it is so beneficial. And he credits to saving people's lives. He credits to just saving their overall well-being and their quality of life. So, and it sounds like that's what you're talking about here, because sooner or later we're all going to have a rough patch or two. And if we're prepared and have some of this knowledge, we can be ready to at least maybe smooth out that rough patch.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you, one of the people saved by the Apple Watch is my husband, Ron, who will be at the conference. Uh, he got a message from his watch that his heartbeat had been under 40 beats a minute for 10 minutes. And he should go to the doctor. And that clued him in to get to the doctor. And the doctor put a monitor on him for 3 days. And they spent a couple of days getting the information back and analyzing it. And he ended up with a call that said, "Come to the hospital now. Do not drive yourself and plan to stay." And he ended up with a pacemaker in a couple of days after that. And of course, that saved his life.
Wow.
So, it can happen to all of us. And we had no idea that his heart was having electrical issues and that he was going to need something to make it go long. And talking about the Apple Watch, I can't think of a doctor that I see who doesn't wear an Apple Watch. And to me, that's very telling. And they see mine and they say, "I'm glad you have that. And can you do this? Do you do that with it?" And so it makes it very helpful to be getting information, day and night. I wear mine at night now. And without the watch, you just don't get all that information, and the doctors like that information.
It's been a topic of discussion on our live show a number of times that this is, with all the medical expenses that we have, and as much as you hate spending money on the medical expenses, this is pretty cheap insurance. This is a pretty cheap way to help yourself and, to your point, help your doctor take care of you. And a lot of it can be done more or less automatically. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what you know and what you've experienced that I don't know. Because again, Apple touts the health benefits, and I think a lot of people sort of overlook them at times until they really need them. And so this will be a real course in what we need to know.
Well, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you learn a lot. It's been fun putting the presentation together and coalescing all the knowledge I have and all the things that I use my Apple equipment for in a medical sense. So.
And Pat, the people that don't know you, especially now since I've been corrected and you're not a first-time speaker, you're not just somebody that, started having problems and is jumping in this. You have a lengthy technical background and a lengthy resume of activities in the Apple community. That includes being in the leadership of Washington Apple Pie. You were partner to Bob Dr. McVoices for a long time with a remote, troubleshooting and problem-solving service. And I know there are others that are skipping out of my mind, but you've been around for a while and you know this stuff. And so this is not just somebody that cooked something up and said, "Oh, I'm going to speak."
Yeah, really, when I was talking to Mike about presenting, and he wanted a resume of what I had done and what I do, and it was interesting to put it all together, because when you're no longer working, you're not thinking of making a list of everything. So I took a bunch of stuff out because I can't tell everything, but I tried to put the important things in. Yeah, I've been with technology since the days of the Apple IIc.
Yep. Well, if memory serves, you and I met for the first time in person, anyway, at one of the Washington Apple Pie yard sales.
I think that's probably right. It's been many, many years.
Well, not that many, Pat. Don't say it that way.
Well, how long has the has the telephone been out, the iPhone?
Oh, wow. I've lost track. I honestly have lost track. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it's okay. You make a fair point. All right. All right.
I mean, we've gotten to enjoy
Mike,
these products for so long and become users and advocates and helpers in the community.
yeah. Yeah, it's been a fun ride, and I'm delighted you're still taking it, and I'm extra delighted that you are now going to add Macstock speaker to your resume. Um, so Mike usually has given all the speakers codes. Do you know? Did he give you a speaker code, or do you have it?
I do have a code, but I don't have it now. Can I get you to put it in the show notes? I will send you the
Absolutely,
code. I have
absolutely.
to look it up at the moment. I'll
Okay.
send it to you for the show notes.
All right. So, folks, I will put Pat's code right down there in the lower thirds, but also in the show notes. So, if you are coming, no, scratch that. When you register for Macstock, it's macstockconference.com. Use Pat's code to save a little money, but definitely come. This might be one of the most important sessions at Macstock, depending on your age or I scratch that. I think it's going to be one of the most important sessions at Macstock because no matter what your age, if you are having health issues, maybe Pat can help you get better hold of them. And if you're not, you should be prepared.
Exactly.
So, Pat, I just talked you up, but I'm delighted. I know I've already seen your presentation, so I know it'll be a great one. But thank you so much for doing this, and I look forward to seeing both you and Ron back in Crystal Lake.
Oh, we can't wait to be there. We always enjoy the conference. For those who have not gone to the conference, it is worth your time and money. It is absolutely probably my most fun weekend of the year.
Folks, how many times have we heard speakers say that? That's because I feel the same way, Pat. You know, there are a few weekends of the year that stand out. This is one of them. I agree with you.
Really.
So safe travels, and we'll see you there.
Okay, see you in just a couple of weeks. It's getting close.
It is. It is. Folks, we want to see you in Crystal Lake at Macstock. So again, macstockconference.com. Use Pat's code, whatever it is. And again, I'll have it in the show notes. But I don't care whose code you use. Just get there because we are going to have a ball. We're going to get so much great information. This one is going to be one that I'm going to pay extra attention to for multiple reasons. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.